So we're going to talk a little golf later on. So let me throw an analogy to go along with the NFL draft. So Marvin Harrison's been the wire-to-wire top wide receiver. So he's Akshay Bhatia from the Texas Open. Then Malik Nabers is Danny McCarthy, just making this mad dash to try to overtake Harrison Jr. on the wide receiver big board. Okay, golf analogy over. Ryan Wilson's latest mock draft, he has the Cardinals taking Nabers ahead of Harrison Jr. And then Marvin goes to the Giants at 6. But if we move towards just the wide receivers, here's that mock draft again. You're seeing Nabers at 4 and Marvin Harrison Jr. at 6. But the big board for wide receivers, R-Dub's got a tie for first between Nabers and Harrison Jr. as he's graded them the same. And I will tell you, though, sports books like FanDuel still have the Ohio State guy minus 600 versus 4-1 for the LSU guy to be the first wide receiver selected.
Did he really do that? Does he have T1? Come on, Ryan, make a stand. Come on.
Cop out. Let's go with that. What's up with that battle, Ryan? Why do we have a T1 situation that DK's not too pleased about here?
Well, first of all, guys, shout out to producer Noah for getting it right this time. He had Malik ahead of Marvin in the last time we talked, so it would have made you feel better, Danny. But I'll be honest with you. We were at the LSU Pro Day a few weeks ago, and I may have fallen in love with Malik Nabers in person. He is thick lower half, 4.35 unofficial, 42-inch vertical, 15 times on the bench press. And, yeah, that's great, but then you watched him play in the fall, Danny, and I think you could understand why he's going to be one of the first players drafted. That said, the issue is, what have you done for me lately? And we forget about what Marvin Harrison has done over the entirety of his career at Ohio State. And I've said this countless times. If you want to see Marvin Harrison's pro day, you should have gone last year. I happened to be there watching C.J. Stroud, and everyone was side-eyeing Marvin Harrison Jr. because he was so special. We have no idea how fast he is in terms of his time speed and shorts and T-shirts. We see him play in the fall and know that he's outrunning defenders. So you can't go wrong with either of these wide receivers, whether Marvin Harrison goes 4, and I actually think he will. I think the Cardinals like him a little better, or whether it's Malik Nabers that goes 4 or 6 to the Giants. At the end of the day, I don't think it matters because whoever your quarterback is going to be eminently happier to have these players running routes for them as opposed to not having them on their roster.
I like them both, too, but I'm leaning towards the camp that has Malik Nabers ahead of them. And you mentioned a lot of the reasons why. In the NFL, you got to compete. You have to earn it. You got to go out there and you got to enter into camp as if you haven't been undrafted, like an undrafted free agent. And from what I've seen this offseason from Marvin Harrison Jr., he's trying to take this different approach of, hey, I'm going to do things differently. I'm not going to run a 40. I'm not going to work out. I'm not going to train for the draft. All things that receivers and NFL players have been doing for the past 20 or 30 years, and he wants to change the game. I want somebody who's hungry, who wants to prove and wants to battle and try to claim that #1 receiver spot. So they bring that attitude in with them into camp when they get there. And I think it is a little bit of pick your poison. What style of receiver do you like? I typically like a big, strong, physical receiver like Marvin Harrison Jr., but when you've got the special talent that Malik Nabers have, the ability to get those yards after catch, the explosiveness, great hands, 50% of his catches went for 15-plus or more yards. Give me that big play in a bottle right there, Malik Nabers.
Speaking of what have you done for me lately, what have you seen lately? Nabers in what, that 4.35 40 at the Pro Day certainly sticks in a lot of people's minds there as well. It kind of catches the eye there. So we're going LSU, Ohio State in this conversation. If we move on to LSU and Florida State, usually it's a conversation for DBU, but we're sticking with wide receivers here. Brian Thomas Jr. coming at number 4 and Keon Coleman at number 6. Before we get to DK, though, let's talk about Ryan's take.
So Brian Thomas Jr., again, he was at the Pro Day, and he didn't run because he ran at the Combine and ran in the 4.3s, and he is an absolute monster in the red zone. All he does, Danny, and you know this, is run inside fades for touchdowns. All Jaden Daniels has to do is throw it up, and Brian Thomas Jr. kept coming down with it. So the physical ability is there, the athleticism, the speed, that's all there. You see the high point ability here. Our buddy Rick Spielman, his comp was George Pickens, and I think that's a great comp for Brian Thomas Jr. But I want to talk about your guy, Keon Coleman, who just turned 21 a few weeks ago. He ran the 4.61 at the Combine, his 40-yard dash, and that's troubling on the surface. But here's here's the thing. He was one of the fastest players in the gauntlet drill, and I liken him. Now, not exactly this player, but in terms of coming out of school, Amon-Ra St. Brown also ran a 4.61. Amon-Ra's a different player, but the point is this. He should not have gone on day 3. He probably should have been a top 50 pick, and he plays like it. And I think people are sleeping on Keon for that 4.61, but are not understanding, Danny, that he's new into playing football. He's a basketball player. He's young, and he is going to get better. He is thick. He's a high-point catch machine, and you see the return ability here. I think if he lasts until the middle or the late second round, it's going to be a steal for someone, in much the same way that DK Metcalf somehow ended up being the last pick of the second round because he ran that slow 3-cone time a few years ago.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Ryan. Both of these players, basketball players, Brian Thomas in high school, Keon Coleman played for a year at Michigan State before he transferred. I think they're both similar. Both are taller, physical receivers. I like both of them. I think Keon Coleman is going to be the steal of this draft because I think what happens every year, you mentioned the 4.61 40 time, these scouts are going to overthink it and they're going to be concerned. He did have some injuries. He missed some games last year. They're going to overthink it. When he gets on the football field, he has a knack for making plays. He catches everything you throw in his vicinity with that wide catch radius. You talked about him as a returner. For a player of his size, usually see the smaller, quicker receivers as returners. I don't know if the NFL teams will value that, but if they do, you get a bonus there. But every time he touches the ball, something big happens. And, since these players, LSU, Florida State, we're comparing them, go back and watch the game where Keon Coleman, his first in a Florida State uniform, he took over that game in Orlando and put on an absolute show. And like Ryan was talking about seeing him in person at the LSU Pro Day, a couple of these guys, walking on the field and seeing Keon Coleman before that game, he is an absolute specimen, yoked in his jersey, like quads popping out from underneath, and then he backed it up on the field. I think he's going to be a steal this draft.
All right, let's continue to move down the board. This is sort of the battle of the best wide receiver named Xavier. You got Legette and Worthy, R-Dub, an 8-10 ranking for you respectively.
Yeah, I was going to make this count for Keon Coleman, but Xavier Legette as well. Built like Ben Middlebrooks. Thick, strong, powerful at the point. You're not going to move him off the spot unless you're 7'4", but that's a conversation for another time. Here's the great thing about Xavier Legette. So we talked about the Week 1 game with Florida State and LSU there. The other Week 1 game that got my attention was South Carolina versus North Carolina. You could argue Spencer Rattler outplayed Drake May, but another player that put his name on the map was number 17, Xavier Legette. Long strider, thick. He ran well at the combine, and he was known coming into the season, but he separated himself this season, both literally and figuratively. You see him running past defenders here. He's going to be a day 2 guy. I think there's some things he needs to refine as a route runner, but when you talk about the other Xavier Worthy, the fastest player in human history at the combine, 4.21, that was a fun storyline to follow a few months ago. But the other thing with Xavier Worthy, I like him a lot. I think he's much tougher than he plays. He's 165-ish and change. He has some focus drops, and I do wonder, Danny, about the size, going from dominating the Big 12, where defense is sometimes optional, to going to the NFL and being expected to keep at that same level of productivity when you're going up against big, grown men at the cornerback position.
Yeah, especially when one of my notes that I had was not great versus contested catches, right? If it's in traffic, those 50-50 balls, because of that slighter frame. But he is explosive, and the 165 frame is easy to get moving, as we saw with that record-setting 4.21, which I worry a little bit, kind of a Deshaun Jackson type frame, very skinny, but can really pop the top. I think he's got to get more physical at the point of attack. I'd like to see him, put on a little bit of weight, and then you wonder if he loses some of that speed. But shoot, even if he loses a tenth of a second, he's still blazing, and he does track the deep ball really well and is able, because he's going to get underthrown. You run that fast, the quarterback's not going to be able to throw you in stride every time. So he does track the ball well, sets it up differently. And then for Xavier Legette, you mentioned it, I don't think he's the best route runner. I think he's a little slow out of his breaks, but if you can polish that up, I think his physicality is what translates, because he is strong and physical at the point of attack, makes a lot of those catches. And I love that he had that North Carolina game too, but he also, on a team that they didn't have so much talent around him, his quarterback struggle, got pounded a lot. He had to make a lot of throws in traffic, and he came up with them most of the time.
And then lastly, this matchup has a larger discrepancy. All these have been within 1 or 2, but this is a 14-ranked discrepancy. Jermaine Burton and Tez Walker, R-Dub. So take us through these two guys.
But similar type players in terms of what they're asked to do. They both play primarily outside. They're both big targets. They're both really fast. Tez Walker timed in the 4.3s. The difference for me is that Jermaine Burton has sort of flown under the radar, because Jalen Milroe took about 6, 7, 8 weeks to get going at Alabama. He got benched for the game. But once Jalen Milroe hit his stride, a big reason was Jermaine Burton, who is a deep threat all day long. He is one of the best separators in college football from a year ago, and he plays with soft hands. And I think we're not talking enough about his on-field productivity. He feels like a second-round pick to me all day long. We'll see how the off-field issues go. There have been some murmurs. I haven't heard anything, but in terms of the productivity on the field, it's hard not to love what you see. In terms of Tez Walker, missed the first 2 games because of the NCAA violations as the transfer, but he is another deep threat down the field. A little stiffer coming out of his breaks for me, Danny, and the other issue is, even though you wouldn't know to see this catch, his hands aren't natural hands. Jermaine Burton feels like he has natural hands. Sometimes it feels like Tez Walker's fighting the ball. He struggled at the Senior Bowl with that, but I think he has a chance to be a day 3 pick for me, where you just bring him in to hit home runs, run 9 routes all day, and put pressure on the defense.
Yeah, and you can even see some of that what you're talking about, the ball kind of getting on his body a little bit more of a body catcher, feels more comfortable there than going out and snatching it with his hands. I also thought he had a tendency, Drake May's been under the scrutiny of every NFL scout, and you saw some balls that appeared underthrown. We're talking about Xavier, how he would kind of adjust so that the ball timed up. I thought Tez Walker, sometimes when he was open, he kept running. Instead of kind of adjusting his speed so he could catch it in stride, kind of let that ball get up to him. Even coming out of breaks, would have a tendency to sort of let the ball get to him. When he gets to the NFL, those coaches are going to want him coming back to every single ball, whether it's a curl route, even on a fade route, kind of adjusting your speed to kind of keep that corner locked on your hip so he can't make a play on there. And then for Jermaine Burton, I thought he played bigger than his size. Like, he's not one of these 6'4" guys, but he plays bigger than that. And he stretches the field vertically, outstanding. I'd like to see a little bit more on the underneath stuff after the catch. I think he's more of a straight line runner, but I agree with you. I think he's completely flying under the radar. And I do think it's because of some of the off the field stuff that has happened. The game against Tennessee, after the field, there was an incident with a fan, some other stuff that's going on there. I think that concerns some teams. But if they can get him to get on track and kind of put that stuff to rest, I think he could be one of those value plays, absolutely.
Draft just a little over 2 weeks away. Catch that list in its entirety on CBSSports.com. Our thanks to Ryan and Danny. You know, typically I text Ryan to see what's coming up on the pod. I didn't this time, Ryan. What do you guys have coming up on the next pod?
Rick and I are talking about, we talked about comps yesterday, and tomorrow we are talking about, sleepers. So watch tomorrow, Danny and Tommy. We're talking about sleepers, much of the same guys we talked about here today.